The world's 10 most dangerous volcanoes 2021. Scientists simplify things to make volcanoes more understandable to the general public. Of course, the truth is more complex. Per volcano is distinct from the others. When trying to assist people living nearby, volcanologists must learn about each individual's personality and background. But, with limited resources, how do you decide which volcanoes to investigate? Here's how to do it. When the United Nations declared the 1990s to be the International Decade of Decadence. Handhold Volcano, Philippines. Taal made international headlines when it erupted in January 2020. Because the current situation is still volatile, let's just call it a decade volcano. Taal, which is only 30 miles south of Manila, the nation's capital, is home to well over 20 million people. Taal was a candidate for the Decade Volcano list in the 1990s based solely on human risk. However, Taal has also been very active throughout the. Communication is essential in volcanology as well. As part of the Decade Volcano program, scientists and regional planners collaborated to limit intensive development within the caldera. This foresight is likely to have made the current crisis easier to manage. 9. Avichenski-Koryaksky, Russia. Population at risk. Over 200,000 people live within 62 miles, 100 kilometers, of these two volcanoes on the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia's far east. Avichenski erupted in 2001, and Koryaksky erupted in 2009. What is the disadvantage of living dangerously close to an active volcano? You can have all the fun you want during quiet spells. The people in this video, for example, summited Avichenski on a sunny day and got great views of nearby Koryaksky. There, Avichenski seems to be rock solid. It's hard to believe that this volcano occasionally erupts. However, Petropavlovsk, Kamchatka's largest city, was built on the remains of one of these prehistoric disasters. Mudflows and lava are the most common threats, and they may occur at any volcano. Since Petropavlovsk is so remote, residents will have to wait for help to arrive by land and sea during a volcano emergency. 8. Colima, Mexico. 1.5 million people are at risk. Colima, a complex volcanic center near Mexico's western coast, poses a number of hazards in addition to posing a threat to population centers. For one thing, it has frequent violent eruptions, such as the one seen on monitoring cameras here in 2017. Almost all decade volcanoes are located in subduction zones, which usually result in explosive volcanism. Blast effects, ballistic rocks and lava bombs, and pyroclastic flows are all caused by such explosions. They even start wildfires, as you can see. And Colima does it again and again. In past millennia, it has also had several large debris slides. After making the Decade Volcano list, new hazard maps were made for Colima and its monitoring post was restructured. 7. Etna, Italy. This one is well known. Etna is a UNESCO World Heritage Site with one of the most extensive historical eruption records of any active volcano, dating back 3,500 years. One look at its spectacular lava flows explains why Etna was named a decade volcano. The video above was shot in 2011 near Zafrana, which only exists today thanks to a concerted effort in 1992 that succeeded in damming and then diverting a lava flow that threatened to overwhelm the area. During an eruption, that kind of success is uncommon. The main dangers on Etna are lava and occasional hydrothermal blasts like this one. However, because Sicily is heavily reliant on Etna tourism as well as agricultural products grown on the volcano, any increased activity would have a negative economic impact. 6. Mauna Loa, USA. Mauna Loa may appear to be just a long, low mountain near Kilauea, the Hawaiian volcano that erupted spectacularly in 2018. Mauna Loa is the world's tallest active volcano, rising about 6 miles above the Pacific Ocean's surface. It still has a lot of eruptions. A lava flow came within 5 miles of Hilo's city limits in 1984. The biggest risk here is lava, but Mauna Loa has had some flank collapses in the distant past. Fortunately, the Hawaiian Islands are not near a subduction zone, so eruptions are rarely as strong. Volcanologists are keeping a close eye on Mauna Loa because it appears to be building up to another eruption, but they see no need to increase the warning level higher than it is now, yellow, the lowest warning stage. 5. Mount Merapi, Indonesia. During the Decade Volcano program, Merapi received a lot of international attention because it is one of Indonesia's most active volcanoes and it is located in a densely populated area. Merapi's eruptions are also ferocious, producing long-lasting pyroclastic flows. Merapi's dangers include lahars, an Indonesian term for mudflows, and large landslides, in addition to those frightening gray death clouds. Merapi's most recent eruption, in 2010, killed over 100 people. 4. Mount Rainier, USA. The last major blast, of V4, at this world-famous landmark near Seattle, Washington, occurred about 2,200 years ago, but that's not the only risk. Mount Rainier, which is heavily glaciated, has a proclivity for collapsing, resulting in large mud flows. This has never happened before in history. In 1985, the inhabitants of Armero, Colombia, were not so lucky. Although their ice-capped volcano, known as Nevado del Ruiz, did not collapse, its lava melted summit glaciers and caused a mudslide that engulfed Armero and other cities, killing over 23,000 people. There had been plenty of forewarnings, but no one expected this. Thousands of people died who might have escaped by running a few hundred yards. Both the UN Hazard Reduction Declaration and the Decade Volcano Initiative were affected by the Armero tragedy. Mount Rainier now has improved detection and threat mapping, thanks in part to all of this publicity. In addition, some legislation has been enacted to limit potential construction in high-risk areas and raise public awareness of the dangers. Many people in the Rainier region, however, are still in denial. That's understandable, if sad. It's human nature to never believe such a terrible thing could happen. 3. Sakurajima, Japan. This volcano, which is situated on the same island as Mount Fuji but further south, may be unfamiliar to you. Fujisan, a world-famous volcano, poses a serious threat to Tokyo and is the focus of extensive research. Since this dangerous volcano isn't as well known, the Decade Volcano Selection Committee may have selected Sakurajima instead. After all, you haven't seen anything like this recently in Tokyo. However, the 2013 video depicts one of the dangers that residents of Kagoshima City, which is less than 5 miles from Sakurajima, face on a regular basis. Until 1914, when one of Sakurajima volcano's explosive eruptions also erupted lava flows that linked it to the mainland, it was an island in Kagoshima Bay. Thousands of people now live in the region, and children are expected to wear hard hats in case of stone rain. 2. Santorini, Greece. The eruption history that gave Santorini, also known as Thera, its dramatic appearance has piqued the interest of volcanologists. For the last 180,000 years, they've found at least 4 caldera-forming occurrences. A V7 eruption occurred approximately 3,600 years ago. That's the one that could have doomed the Minoan civilization, which was based on Crete, a nearby island. Or maybe not. No one is really sure yet what closed down that amazing culture. Santorini now has its first modern volcano observatory, thanks to the Decade Volcano Initiative. So far, it has only detected intermittent swarms of seismic activity, with nothing that indicates an imminent eruption. 1. Unzen, Japan. Yeah, this is the volcano that killed 40 people in 1993, including volcanologists Harry Glicken, Katja Croft, and Maurice Croft. Unzen is a mashup of 3 massive stratovolcanoes and multiple lava domes that takes up the majority of the Shimabara Peninsula east of Nagasaki. Pyroclastic flows are a significant threat in this region. And often, as a result of collapsing material falling into the sea, tsunamis occur, such as the one that struck Unzen in 1792, killing over 14,000 people. Unzen awoke near Shimabara City in 1990, causing evacuations and damaging over 2,000 homes. Everything is quiet now, but when Unzen erupts again, data from Decade volcano studies and other research will help to boost activity forecasts.